So this is my Conspiracy Broadcasting Network vlog, I believe 105. Um, on my channel, I'm just vlogging and documenting the this totalitarian type of campaign of terrorism and warfare and the tactics that have been used recently. Um, Again, I'm tapping into what was recently been used, and then what I also um, kind of kept hidden um, from years past on some of those tactics. But today, I'm just going to vlog real quick. I want to do it briefly about what's going on this week and the things that I've encountered. And here's one of the things I think that happened. Today's the 22nd, I believe. So on May 19th, I noticed that they're taking some of the characters. A very rare occasion when I'm have downtime, I might jump on like the Xbox, and when I go onto these servers, they will have these characters that are in red always in my server. So the server will sit there and it'll load for you to go into like a multiplayer, whatever scenario it is, or um, whatever platform. Sometimes I'll get on Steam occasionally, and they'll make sure that you're loaded in with players who have something on their name tags that is pertinent to what you're doing in real life, something that you've been browsing. Like, for example, if I'm browsing on Amazon or I'm purchasing something on, let's just say, the Walmart grocery list, they'll come on the server, whatever time I check in afterwards of that purchase or that browsing time, and then they'll come in and have innuendo and semantics about what it is that I'm doing on my grocery list or what I'm browsing for. And then the other thing is they're always keeping and partnering you with these red characters, red vehicles, whatever red guards in my squad, constantly in my server. All the time, they're having some type of character in red. Okay, when you have any type of game that you can alter that outfit and their garments, they'll make sure that I'm partnered with someone in red. I've had on the past 3 days, I believe, there's a number calling me, area code 206 or area code 602. Okay, both of them are spam. I had to document on voice recorder that on the 20th, right here, I have it written that these phone calls, when they come in, they're coming in as spoofs, and they're always timing whenever I leave. So I'm oftentimes studying and reading. I'm often doing academia nonstop, 24/7, almost every day. And so I'm always reading and reading and reading. And then I go up to leave, for example, to go get some food or go do some meal prepping or go let the dogs out. When I come back, they're always pushing the number. They're always pushing the phone call, basically. And it says, missed call, and you get the little deflection arrow, and it says you missed a call, but you never really missed the call because you've seen this happen before. And what they'll do is they'll just push the phone number through with a call and call it a missed call. And it's like a spoof, basically. It never actually sits there and rings for a period of seconds, right? 10 seconds or more. It always just goes straight to your notification you missed a phone call. It will never ring. Okay. When I picked up to look at the number, in this case, it was the area code 206-231-0638. I called them back, and they're talking about that they know that if I'm in a financial hardship, that I should pull a loan, and that I'm qualified for $35,000, which is basically the amount that I pulled for physician assistant school. Okay, and so they're playing harassment and semantics with the area code both of these phone numbers. Okay, with the number 6 again, number 2, saying that I'm, and they're talking about my finances and everything, and they're just going into this communication mode of cyber stalking me about financial burden and financial hardships. So today I was going to go look at some dogs. Okay, I wanted to check out the local humane society. When I went to do that, I did my background research and stuff like that on these dogs. But when I got there, I found out that their health records weren't exactly satisfactory. Some of them, actually all of them, were on medications, and there was some afflictions to, unfortunately, their main organ systems, like their hearts. So I decided that I wasn't going to oblige in an adoption today, but I always talk about the vehicles that are always following me, and sure enough, on the way there to the Humane Society and on the way back, they're running the typical stalking game of either white vehicle of some sort and sticking to that, or whatever they can find. And what this is also doing that I think I barely brushed up on, but it's like they're always trying to tell a story. So ever since I got arrested on February 19th, now there's just this constant blue vehicle with whatever type of orange they can follow up with. So there'll be blue vehicles, and then behind them or around them, and it's always right, and they're always waiting for me to come. And if you look in the opposing lanes, these vehicles aren't in the opposing lanes. These vehicles are always around me, and what they'll do is they'll wait and stage constantly behind you in a line like this. Okay, and what they'll do is when they're trying to send the message, okay, using this coordination. Now you're asking yourself, well, how did you get to this point where you could try to anticipate that they're quote unquote storytelling using this street theater? And the fact of the matter is you've been traumatized for so long, and they waited to traumatize you when you were showing care and doing your job in healthcare, and then they want to take that away from you and abuse you. And so you've been in cognitive dissonance for years, right? And so they've traumatized you so much with the ambient abuse by proxy that they're able to easily link together little types of innuendo and semantics, because that's what's been the vast majority of your adult life, essentially, is these people running semantics on you using the ambient conditions, using the vehicles and the license plates, right? So on the way there, and this has been common, is ever since I've been arrested, they're walking around a lot more with either blue and orange, especially like if I go to the gym where I drive, they'll drive with some type of like a blue truck or a blue car, and then they'll have someone follow through with something orange. Okay. Same thing in the gym. It's the blue attire, and then they'll have someone follow up behind that as you turn the corner with either orange shoes, orange shirt, orange hat, something orange. And they don't ever wear orange, but the simple fact, all of a sudden, they're always trying to storytell using the colors around you about things that are pertinent. Okay, and it's just mocking you at all times. Okay, at all times, always mocking you. When I get into the animal shelter, before I even arrived, the one of the ladies was like, "Oh yeah, this dog is my favorite," and I think the dog's name is Mr. Cheetos, which is English for woodland. Okay, so it's like a British dog, basically. Big old fat head on him. He looks good, but he's got a bunch of dermatitis, yeast infection. He's got hot spots, basically. He's got heartworm, stuff like that. And he's got really, really, really bad dentition. He's only 4 years old. Okay. He's been abused, been out. You can tell he's been outside, neglected, basically. and real good, like just a studly looking dog, about 80 pounds, bull, some bull in him. Anyway, big old noggin. I'm talking big old noggin on this dog. And the thing is I've got other dogs, so and one of them likes to play really hard. I know she'll get the yeast infections and everything too, so he's on all these medications and stuff. Not a good time to be making an adoption for him. Long story short, um, these women will come around and they'll abuse you. Okay, so since you're isolated, the terrorism is about abusing you at all times. And you'll go in there, and what they'll do is they'll take these attractive women, and they'll walk, and they're always walking on a grid, so they're following you wherever you go in this vet / humane society or whatever public building you're in. You're being tracked. Okay, so what they're trying to do is they're running this theater on you at all times, and that theater is always this storytelling, and it's always the attack of humility, always the attack of you're small. Okay, always the attack. Okay, it's always the attack. All right, always the mental attack. And what they'll do is they'll take these women, and this is super common, and this has been going on for years. Okay, they'll take a female that you might find attractive, or better, they already know you find her attractive, and they've already studied you through your selection and what you say, and they're archiving everything that I say right now is archived. So then what they'll do is they know you like a specific female or a specific type, you have a fondness or an interest. And the thing about it is if you're the type that has an interest in like multiple or different, and the more you like and the more things that you gravitate to, the easier it is for them to abuse you and traumatize you. So they're taking these women, and what they'll do is they'll come in your proximity, and she'll look at you. This female that is attractive, she'll look at you, and then what she'll do is she's only near you so that the guy that's taller than you can intersect your line of sight. Okay, and typically what happens is she'll look at you, and or she'll walk by you, and then when you walk a corner or you turn, then they're going to have someone that's a guy that's taller than you. Okay, and they'll do this repetitively. Okay, and it's this way of always making sure that you're pressed under this thumb of inferiority at all times, right? Of inferiority. Okay, she doesn't like you, she likes this guy, type of thing, and it's nonstop, like a rotating door. Every type of person that you might be interested in, they'll run that game. Okay, and so they're running a game at all times in your atmosphere. One of the technicians will say, "Oh yeah, I'll you could see him in a few minutes because I was interested in another dog," and then you find out that she may have been busy, but what happens is they're playing. It's a perpetual series of actions and behaviors, and so she won't come back when she says she comes. When she said she'll be back. For example, you can see the dog in 5 minutes. So instead of her checking in with you in 5 minutes, she won't check in with you at all. I had another female in here come up to me while I was browsing. She didn't, I don't know if she was working or volunteering or what, but she was different in her attire. So I felt maybe she was affiliated in certain capacity, but she came up to me while I was looking at another dog, and we got to talking about her coat and everything, about this dog's coat and how I appreciated, all these little things and mannerisms and all this and all that. And she was all agreeing, and she was getting you hyped up, basically. She's trying to get you hyped up. She's coming up to you and approaching you. Okay, this woman is coming and approaching you. All right. So some time goes by, and you go around the whole facility, and you go right back to this dog, and you find out that she's not there. This dog is no longer in the cell. Okay, so it's this constant atmosphere and campaign of abuse at all times, right? And then the dog that has an active yeast infection and bad dentition, knowing that you have to follow up with the heart test and everything, and there's more financial burden down the road. This is the dog that you're gonna try to be given, and these women will use their attractiveness, okay, to abuse you and get you hyped up and sell you. Basically, it's like putting on a bathing suit with big tits and a big butt, and then saying, "Hey, come check this dog out. Do you want it?" Right? And so they think that you're gonna fall for that type of affinity. It's the same thing, okay? The same thing. Even though this chick wasn't like that, this chick was a little bit taller than me, which I thought was attractive, and she was cute. But the thing about it is they're using, this is not the first time either. This is not the first time. This is dozens of times that I just have failed to make out here in your reality. The thing that is, I'm going to jump off the that whole piece, this whole romance bandwagon. I ended up leaving without any adoption, right? But I had anticipated in the future, and for a third buddy. And the thing is I was looking at my my recent online portfolio, and I was trying to make sure that I had everything complete before I start my next job. And I forgot to mention that I noticed immediately that when I signed in, I know for a fact I completed everything, because sometimes when you hit the save button, you get this confetti and this celebratory action, okay, that you've completed it. It gives you a little notification that it'll be sent off, and this, that, and the other thing, downloaded if you need it, yada, yada. Long story short, last week I finished up some stuff in one of my profiles. And when I checked it today, this afternoon, it said that I was missing a step. And I filled out a step, and it said I was missing a step. Okay. Here's something that I forgot to say. These people that are cyber stalking me and archiving everything that I do and everything that I say in real time and watching me, okay, and then removing all of my evidence. When I was working as a paramedic and when I was doing physician assistant school rotations, these 104, I believe, and 103, when you your computer, there's times when they'll deliberately lock out your account, even though you're putting in the right password. You'll be getting notifications that it's the incorrect password. And it's not that the fact that you actually put in the incorrect password, it's the fact that they're sitting there toying with that account remotely. And so you're putting it in, and what they'll do is they'll wait for you to have somebody like your supervisor, and you're on the tough book, and you're like, this has always worked. Why is it working now? How come it's not working now? And it's because there's somebody overlooking your computer, and when you're trying to log in, they're making sure it's locked. It has nothing to do with the fact that you had a misstroke, or you're spelling it wrong, or anything, or you forgot it. Okay? They're deliberately locking you out. And then whenever you're doing work on anything computer related and you complete it and you hit save and you go on, and then what happens is later you come back on shift, it says that you didn't complete something. You did complete it. Now, these people are over here fucking around with your account, okay, and fucking around with the software. And they'll remove information and then have you go back in there and act like you did, like you forgot or some shit. You didn't forget. You didn't forget to rectify that. You didn't forget to save and continue. You didn't. These shitheads are in here going back and messing around with your account. Okay? This is what they do. And in the 90s series, when I was all about EMS and talking about regional, Shoals, AMR, GARDA, physician assistant school, all of that stuff, when I was on the tough books, and this is in conjunction with them using my cell phone as abuse when I'm trying to make pre-hospital communication, when I have a patient on board and I'm inbound and I'm making a pre-hospital arrival. And then they shut off my data, and then they'll have the communication and the nurses on arrival ask me why I didn't make pre-arrival communications with them. And so they're sitting there trying to do everything they can to literally erase you, okay? Literally. In my tough book, they're in there remotely hacking the tough book while I am typing my narratives and then erasing the narratives. So I have to redo it. Okay? There's times when I've completed task and then it's erased. Okay? The last job I just left, even though I was hitting save, they were making sure to erase all of my notes, even though I hit save at the end when I check in and I do my task. I hit save every time. And then when I go back in there, all of my task checkboxes are erased. All of my note narrative boxes are erased, and I got to do it all over again. And they made me do it 3 or 4 times on some shifts. Has nothing to do with updates, has nothing to do with anything. And what they try to do is these companies will say, oh, we had a virus going on. And now they're trying to sit there and use semantics. Okay? About HSV. And they're just trying to use semantics. And the problem is that every single place you go. Okay? So now I just signed on, okay, with a place that I'm going to be heavily using my technology. I built a 16-core computer. It's a 9000 series CPU, okay, processor. And my laptop, it has 2 cores. There's nothing special about it. But they love hacking my laptop. They love that thing, okay? And they hacked my brand new CPU, and that's because I'm using the Office operation system, right? The Windows operation system. And if you're just transferring the Office operation system, the OS, from your laptop, and then you're putting it on a steady state desktop, you didn't do anything. You're taking all your Google accounts and your Windows accounts, and you're just moving it over to a CPU on a steady state drive. You're not making a new account. And even then, just like my phone, it doesn't matter how many times I've changed the phone, these people are sending you phones with corrupted and blacklisted SIM cards. And if it's not that, then they're just using things like the Pegasus and all the new stuff that's out there, because Pegasus is an old thing. Now they have all the other stuff. Yeah. So that's what I've been dealing with. Also, yesterday, I was walking my dog, and I was literally in my front yard. And now what they've done is they've removed some of my neighbor's vehicles so that he can park and use the vehicles to tell a story, the color of the vehicles. So now what they're doing is they're running off of this arrested thing, this disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Okay, they're running with that. And now everything is because they have two charges. He wants to make sure that he takes his truck that's blue, that's typically at the end of the driveway, and bring it up by mine, because I have a blue vehicle. And so he wants to make sure that every time I go out, there's 2 blue vehicles there, insinuating the story and trying to always antagonize about my history and my personal information, right? And not only that, but then what he did was he let a piece of his fence break, okay? So he's got a piece of his fence that's broken down, and behind that is a house that's built in orange, okay? So he wants to make sure that it's left there so that when you go out and you look past the fence, you can see the orange house, okay? So 2 blue vehicles, and then you can see the orange house. Okay, and the fence broken. Vehicles that were towed on this alley were the red vehicles, and then he had a white van, and then I had a blue vehicle. So he had red, white, and blue, right? Red, white, and blue right here outside of near my driveway. Okay, and so then what they did was they removed and he removed one vehicle, switched it up to now parking by mine, so that now you can walk out and they have this what they call the street theater or the ambient abuse by proxy. And now what they're using is their vehicles to tell the story. You're walking out, you got 2 blue vehicles, like 2 charges, and now you got the fence that's broken, like your defensive wall was broken or something, and now you could see orange. Okay. This is the same guy that lets his dog come over to my yard and shit in my yard, right? So yesterday, I'm walking out just literally in my own yard. And as I'm walking around the right side, this guy, this older gentleman, is on the neighbor's property. He stands up, and because I think he was bending down or something, but he stands up and he's like, "Hey," and he's literally doesn't need to be yelling at all. We're pretty close. He's probably at the point in which I notice him 15 feet away, but he's yelling at because I guess he sees that I had headphones on. So he's yelling. So I looked at him, I just ignored it. And my dog was kind of like trying to get over to him, and I was pulling her back. And I had no clue. The guy never said anything else. He was just like, "Hey, hey," like that. "Hey." I looked at him. The guy didn't have anything to say, but he's just yelling at me in my own yard. Okay. So I was like, went right around the house. I turned, looked around the corner, make sure he was gone, because I usually and I thought he was gone, but he's actually bent down, hiding behind the bushes, like he knew I was coming back. So I didn't know this, but I walked and kept going. And all of a sudden he pokes up like this, and he's looking dead at me. And my dog starts trying to get over to him again. And I start pulling her back. And I never said anything to this guy. I don't know who this guy is. And I just keep walking. I just keep it moving. So it's just like, it's always something. And it was right after I did a few things. Like I think I clipped the hedges. I accomplished some stuff. Like I clipped hedges. What else did I do? I did some study stuff. I cleaned up some stuff around the house, and I was just doing my thing, just doing whatever the hell I needed to do for the day. And this guy is just showing up, yelling at me, literally on my property border. Okay, like a few feet from my property border, on the sidewalk of my neighbor. I have no clue who this guy. Never seen him in my life. This guy's just yelling at me. Okay. So that's all I gotta say for today's vlog. But the whole IT thing is a big one, because they'll go through. You're doing what you have to do. You're closing things out. You're saving things. You're clicking. You're filling out boxes and slots. You're doing whatever you need to do. And then what they'll do is they'll say you didn't do it. And in the EMS world with the tough book, they like to throw these flags on you. Okay, you'll get the little flag from the billing department or whatever have you, and they'll be like, you didn't fill this out, yada yada yada. You didn't click this or that. You did. There's times when you didn't. I don't mind acknowledging that, especially in the very beginning, like when you first were onboarding, you had to train a little bit, a little learning gradient, basically. But then all of a sudden you start finding out that all of these things are going haywire, and it's not you. It has nothing to do with you. Is you have some third parties back here watching all of your information at all times, literally monitoring the screen. When you hit save and go elsewhere, you filled it out. Okay, you go back and you check it before you rectify it or save it off. It's fine. And it'll even tell you that the automated checking will even tell you that you did it right. But then next week or a few days later, you're getting some type of flag when you did it already. It's not you. It's not you. Okay. And it's the same thing. I'm onboarding right now, and I had 9 things to accomplish. Okay. I completed all of it last week. Had the whole celebratory little window pop up, give me some instructions. I logged in today. Okay. Today. We're talking 3, 4, 5 days later. Okay. Went on to that profile and that account, and it says that it was showing that I was missing and I had incomplete information. This I'm talking about. This is what they do. And then on top, okay, I'm getting ready to come off of the, and this white SUV shows up, okay, and comes off of the exit, comes in front of me, and there's a license plate that says Marmaduke. But you can barely see it because it looks like Marmaduke. And when I was looking at the dogs in the Humane Society, the German Shepherd, okay, the GSD, his name was Ringo. You can look it up. And the other dog's name was Blanche. Look it up, okay? Birmingham Greater Humane Society. See adoption animals. Look it up for yourself. Especially Ringo looked like Marmaduke. This white SUV shows up, has a license plate, Marmaduke. Right before I'm trying to get off on my exit. And these white SUVs were following me. White SUVs were following me still, not in mass like they were, but they were still keeping or buzzing around me. And then this is exactly what they do is they'll have that license plate show up, okay, with Marmaduke on it when you get closer, but it looks like Marmaduke from a distance. And they're always using this street theater and ambient abuse by proxy, knowing that you were looking at the dog named Ringo. And this is what they do is they take your information and they're always mocking you and harassing you about your daily activities. And so you can't go out because everything you trying to be, they're trying to, and the list goes on, right? You're looking at one dog, considering getting it because, you know, she's got all this positive stuff going on. And then all of a sudden the dog's taken and yada, yada, yada. All of these things. And I just went out literally for an hour and a half. And these are all the things that I had to go through. This morning, it was finding out that they erased, information, technologic information. They removed technologic information that I already completed. Okay. I already completed it. Then they're telling me now that I didn't. So imagine going into work and you have someone like a boss or somebody, administrator or a manager that's overlooking information. You've already fucking done it. It's done. See, the only way you could actually prove this is literally to have a fucking camera that's over your shoulder 24/7, 365. I think that's going to happen too, by the way. That's going to start happening. It's probably one of the reasons why I removed myself from working at face-to-face with all the fucking thugs out there that I've been associated with. Because now when I remove myself from that situation and I'm recording things, and you try to say that I'm doing something that I'm not, then we're going to have a problem. Okay? It's the same thing. You're filling out technological information. It's being done accurately and precisely, okay, and efficiently. You're doing what you have to do, and then you have some shitbags, okay, that are sitting behind a computer, removing and altering your data. At the same time, you have shitbags outside who are hovering around your own house, invading your personal space, running semantics and abuse on you at all times, everywhere you go, targeting your social media, sending shit in your phone, non-stop cyber stalking, 24/7, 365.